Hey guys, what's going on? BMcG here, and today we're here to talk about my Ascended Super Skrull. So a lot of you guys are probably wondering, and I'm just gonna get right to it, why I rank this dude up. I personally like Super Skrull. I think he's a really cool champion, and when my officers asked me if I could, rank him up and ascend him for Alliance War defense, I volunteered for it because I figured, why not? I like the champion. I took him up to rank 4 back in the day for Alliance War defense, so taking up to rank 5 and then ascending him on top of it, it felt fitting to finish the job I started with him. And I think he's kind of underrated. I'm not going to suggest that you guys go rank him up. I can't do that in good conscience. But I do think Super Skrull is a bit underrated. He's got a lot of cool utility going on, but he's also pretty solid in terms of damage if you know what you're doing with him. And the issue is knowing what to do with him. He is a very tricky champ to play, and the timing is super tight. And one wrong move and you have to wait like 15 seconds for his buffs to reset for you to try to fix your error. So yeah, he's not super easy to use. He's really stressful. The payoff isn't that great, but when you can get him going, he gets going pretty good. We're gonna start off going into some story content. So this is an early Act 8. This is Give Me Shelter, Cosmic Grit, True Lies, and then Subterfuge Special. So the really cool thing about this node set here is that Super Skrull has 2 ways to counter the auto block here. He can gain enough buffs to counter it through the node, but he also has access to Undermine in his kit. He gains Undermine when he gains 4 or more Fury buffs, and you gain those when striking the opponent when you don't have that light blue icon right under my health percentage. So yeah. You also gain it once you gain that light blue buff. You can't gain it when you automatically gain 4+ Fury. So as you guys see, well, we didn't even get the Undermine in that fight. We just had enough buffs the whole time to counter the auto block. Next up, we've got Cyclops here, and I'm trying to play a little bit better, but I just keep getting hit. I wasn't expecting them to be able to dash out of the auto block there, dash backwards out of it, but it is what it is. When Super Skrull gains 4 armor, when he gains that Cosmic Overload buff, he gains a Vigilance, and those buffs last as long as the Overload buff does. But the way I usually like to play Super Skrull is build up armors first, which is blocking or getting hit, and then drop the Special 2, because the Special 2 converts armor into Fury, the Special 1 converts Fury into armor. He's a tricky champ to explain, and to be honest with you guys, I don't even know if I should bother explaining how he works to you guys, because I'm not expecting anyone to use him and rank him up. Like, if you guys really want to know, I'll have a message down below in the pinned comment explaining how he works, but I'm not gonna waste my time here and just like try to explain how to use the character, because he's kind of a mess to play. Right here, we are just letting our power gain buff take us to our Special 2 so we can convert the armors into Furies there. I didn't want Hulkbuster to throw a special attack because his armor break would have ripped off one of my armors, and I didn't want him to do that because I wanted as many Fury buffs as I can get. One really cool thing about Super Skrull is that he's got that Falter that is up, it has really good uptime, and you could use it for free openings like I did just there, and you could also use it to miss special attacks completely, which I think is pretty sweet. So yeah, that was Hulkbuster in like 50 seconds. So that whole lane he did really solid for, but this is where the damage starts getting kind of bonkers, because I don't know if you guys watched my Silver Surfer video, but the way Silver Surfer works with external buffs and how he can use them to his advantage and refresh them, Super Skrull's kind of similar. He uses external buffs in a way to where he can convert like armor buffs that we're gaining from the nodes here. We can convert those into Fury buffs from our Special 2 and see how we are unblockable and we gain the Vigilance and the Undermine. That's because we are, his kit works with all these extra nodes that are coming in and all these extra buffs that are coming in. He is a really solid questing champ for that reason, because a lot of the cosmic nodes give you extra buffs, either, you know, fury buffs, armor buffs, aptitude buffs. And then you obviously need buffs for a lot of cosmic lanes, and Super Skrull isn't in short supply of buffs. He has buffs like almost all the time. If you're playing him without buffs, you're playing him wrong, because you're not doing anything. You're literally like not getting hit or hitting the opponent. You're like playing Quake style if you have no buffs with him. Next up, we've got a Havoc, and this is just a really solid showing of how cool it is that he has easy access to armor ups, because he can counter Havoc. We also deal energy damage, so Havoc is immune to Incinerate, so we're not going to be able to do our really solid damage, you know, from the Incinerates, but we can still ramp up our Fury buffs to a higher number than normal because of all these armor ups that we're getting, and that is allowing us to just chip him down with basic attacks. And our special attacks are also going to deal some really solid damage as well, because as we get close to our special 2, we drop it there, and that was just a really solid special 2. Now we just need to get some armor ups so we don't have to eat the plasma detonation, so I dropped the special 1 to convert 5 of the fury into 5 of the armor, and then we're good. We don't have to worry about it. So we're just getting free willpower healing the whole time. We use the falter there just to keep playing super aggressive. That's honestly my favorite thing about Super Skrull, is the falter, because it makes for some really fun like combinations. But yeah, that was Havoc down in I think 1 minute and 11 seconds. So for a Act 8 health pool opponent, I think this is early Act 8, that's really not bad at all. Another cool thing is that we can attack Guillotine 2099 here just normally and build up our Fury buffs. Normally you'd want to parry a bunch, build up armor so you get the Vigilance, but with the node combo we get the Undermine and the Vigilance, and we go for some intercepts there just to look, you know, look pretty. But yeah, now we just you know, hit into her block. Super Skrull gains extra block penetration for all the Fury buffs on him, so he's really solid for Penny in that regard, as well as just other tech champions. Like that was solid damage into the block. As you guys can see there, the falter, one of my favorite things about Super Skrull, saved us there. It allowed us to, you know, attack into her. It triggered her miss, and we missed, but she tried to attack us, so then she missed, so it was a misception. So yeah, pretty solid stuff there in my opinion. Next up, we are going against Gambit. The node set here is Stellar Striker, Aptitude Test, Bubble Shield, Level Headed, and Aggressive. So essentially you need aptitude buffs. Super Skrull has one native in his kit, but we are also using the Thor relic, and the Thor relic, when you activate the Striker and the last hit lands, it applies an aptitude buff to you, and the node combo also gives us aptitudes when we use our Striker. And this is huge for Super Skrull because you know, his buffs that he gains are subject to modification via aptitude. They fall into, you know, what aptitude's looking at to increase the potency of. So this allows Super Skrull's damage to ramp up significantly. And see how we have 8 aptitudes and we have 9 fury buffs. Our basic attacks are dealing really solid damage, and then the Incinerates from the Nova Flames buff are dealing really strong damage as well. And it's just an all-around good time. Like, Super Skrull in quests is a lot of fun to use, I think, personally. I've always loved his animations because the basic attacks feel very much like you're using this like brute, like boxer type of champion, because he punches a lot. But then he also incorporates all the, you know, Fantastic Four members' powers pretty nicely into his other special animations. So the special 1, you know, it has a little, you know, tribute to Invisible Woman and Thing. And then the special 2 has Mr. Fantastic and Human Torch. And I think that Super Skrull's design, while it is kind of underwhelming in terms of like output and how stressful it is to play him, I do think lore-wise it is one of the coolest designs in the game, because they did an amazing job at tying together every single Fantastic Four member into a single kit and turning it into a cosmic kit. I think it's really cool. I've always appreciated that from a design perspective, and that's kind of why I've always had this soft spot for Super Skrull. I also liked the designer who did this kit. They're no longer with Kabam, but they were just a really solid dude. I liked talking to them, and you know, Super Skrull was one of their champs that you know, didn't hit the mark, you know, according to the community as a whole. But you know, it's kind of hard to make Super Skrull super strong, because like if you tune one thing too far in one direction, you have a broken cosmic champion with the way his kit works. You counter miss, you counter auto block, you have a lot of fury buffs, you also have damage over time, you also have all kinds of armor ups, you can go fully unblockable. He also has power gains. So there's so many like things that need to be tuned in his kit, and that's why I don't know if we'll ever see a buffed Super Skrull, because like he has so many levers you can adjust, and if you adjust one of them the wrong way and it's just a little too far, you have this cosmic menace that is annoying as hell on defense, and then he becomes this monster on attack if you buff him too much. So I would love to see a buff for Super Skrull, but I don't know if we'll ever see one, just because he's a solid defender as is. I know like a lot of people don't think so, but you like have to use a Mystic champion against this guy. Obviously you can be fine using any other champion for him, but his kit is very punishing if you don't play into it properly, or if you don't respect his kit. Using just normal champions that aren't Mystic, you can get into some sticky situations, is what I'm trying to say. Whereas using a Mystic champion, you can prevent the buffs, remove the buffs, and you pretty much shut him down. I think that I do think that he is a bit underrated as a defender as a whole, because he is really, really annoying to fight in my experience. Because if you hit him too much and you're too aggressive and you don't let him get any fury buffs, or if you let him get fury buffs and you let him throw a special one, there is a very solid chance that you're going to have a fully unblockable Super Skrull for at least like 15 seconds of the fight. And if he gets to a special 2, that's going to deal some really strong damage, because he converts those armors that you're giving him into fury buffs as soon as he launches that special 2. So he's just a tricky defender in my opinion, and he's just got a lot of things you have to pay attention to. And he's like Gore in that aspect, where like Gore, when you use Mystic champions, he's a nothing burger. But when you use other champions, like generally speaking, I mean, defensive ability accuracy reduction shuts core down. Same thing with Super Skrull. But like generally speaking, when you use just basic champions, whoever you want to use, like it could be a super punishing fight. And that's kind of like the balanced design of defenders in my opinion, where you like force the class advantage match to be the good match. Destroyer is very similar, although Destroyer is a bit more cheesy, although I do think Super Skrull has potential to be a cheesy defender. So yeah, I don't know, I think he's a really solid defender. I think he's underrated as a defender. If he came out as a 7-star, I probably would immediately rank 2 for defensive purposes, because he doesn't even need his awakened ability to be a really solid defender. Yeah, the power gain's annoying, but at the end of the day, like, he has so much stuff going on in his kit, with the potential to be, auto blocking you, the block penetration from the fury buffs, the special 2 that just does so much chip damage if you block it. He's just got a lot going on, and I would immediately rank to him as a 7-star if he came out if he came out tomorrow. I'd rank him up immediately. But we're gonna close out this fight with an Abyss fight. This is Iron Man Infinity War, and I'm just going to be upfront and say that I did not solo this fight. We got him down to like 7% health, and Abyss Iron Man is currently bugged. He's gaining power when he doesn't have an active armor up effect, and that pretty much killed the run at the end. But Super Skrull does a pretty solid job getting him down to that 7% mark. He has easy access to Undermine, which counters the auto block. We're also using the Iron Fist synergy, so every time Super Skrull gains a fury buff, he has a chance to armor break the opponent. And it's really solid for this fight, because you want to rip off that armor up buff that Iron Man gets to start the fight, because he uses that to drain your power or power steal you, I think is what it is. Essentially, he takes all your power, you go to 0, and then he gains whatever power you lost. So it could shoot him to a special 3 if you don't get rid of that armor up, but Super Skrull can remove it through a synergy. And then a lot of Super Skrull's damage comes from damaging effects via Incinerate, and that gets around the tankiness that Iron Man Infinity War has, because Iron Man, as you guys know, is an armor machine. He will reduce the damage that you do significantly with those armor up passives that he gets. And, you know, Super Skrull, he does have strong basic attacks and special attacks when he's fully ramped with the Fury buffs, but like the star of the show here are the Incinerates. The Incinerates do a lot of damage when you're fully ramped, and that is bypassing all of that armor. You know, because armor doesn't provide energy resistance. It provides, you know, less damage taken. I believe it also gives him, I think he just has native crit resistance, but the armors just reduce the damage like flat out unless you crit. And Super Skrull's crit rating isn't that great. Like, as you guys are seeing, like, these are some like puny basic attacks, and then we come in with that special 2, and that's dealing, I think, like 2,000 damage per second. Actually, no, close to 2,000 damage per tick. So that's 4,000 damage per second, and that's just off the special 2. And then once we get these, the Nova Flame buff, we get these Incinerates that last, I think, 1 second, and they're from all our basic attacks, and those are dealing 2,600 damage per tick, which again is really solid. That's the star of the show here. So we're showing off that Undermine and how useful that is to counter the auto block, because we don't have to worry about it at all in this fight. And then we're also showing off how useful that Falter is for easy openings. I love champs who can use like miss mechanics for easy openings. It's probably why I like Silver Surfer so much. But yeah, there's really not much else I have to say about Super Skrull or this fight. But I am interested to hear you guys' thoughts. I want to know what you guys think of Super Skrull after seeing this video. Yes, it is all in story content, so there's always going to be nodes that amplify the champion that I'm showing off. If there were some Battlegrounds metas that weren't as nuky or, you know, punishing to Super Skrull's debuffs, I would be more than willing to try him out on attack, because I have before, and on equal footing, like equal ranks. It was 6-star rank 3 versus 6-star rank 3. He was doing fights in 45 to 50 seconds, and for someone who is primarily a defensive champion, I believe that is not that bad. I can link some of those videos down below as well in the pinned comment. But yeah, I want to know your guys' thoughts. Like, did I surprise you with this gameplay here? Is he looking to be how you expected? Like, let me know down below. I love reading your guys' comments. It's part of like the main reason why I love uploading on YouTube. It's you know, for those who don't know, I started my channel during COVID, and it was my way to interact with people when we weren't allowed to go outside and interact with our loved ones and all our friends. So I turned to YouTube, created the channel, and ever since then I've been, you know, consistently, or not so consistently, but I've been posting and live streaming, and I check my YouTube comments like every single day just to see if anyone said anything new, because I really do enjoy reading what you guys have to say about my videos, whether it be you know, feedback that you like them, feedback that you don't like them. I take all kinds of feedback, whether it be, you know, praise or you know, telling me that I'm not good and I need to improve things, which is fine. I've tried to do that going forward. I've taken feedback, but I'm rambling now. You guys still probably didn't order a Yappuccino, yet you're getting one. But yeah, basically the gist of it is all your comments that you leave down below, I will read them, and I love reading them, so feel free to leave them, because I really want to hear you guys' thoughts on Super Skrull, because I think a lot of people see what he can do sometimes and they're like, what the hell, I didn't know he could do that. So yeah, but this is where the fight pretty much falls apart. He has 12% health left. He has no active armor up effect, yet he's gaining all kinds of power, and it's making no sense, because sometimes he like stops gaining the power, and then sometimes he keeps gaining the power. But there's 10% health, 29 hits left. We would have been able to finish this if we didn't have to bait all these special attacks, because we had the Nova Flames buff, and that would have allowed us to just take him all the way down. But it is what it is. We end up eating some basic attacks because, you know, we have to bait some special attacks here. He gets Fight Me Coward, and the Abyss counter is just chipping down, and we're just not gonna be able to do anything. We get stun locked here, and yeah, the fight's pretty much over. So if you guys enjoyed the video, consider hitting the like button and subscribing if you're new. It helps me grow the channel, and I'll see you guys for the next video or stream. Peace out.